This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
The U.S. Coast Guard is pursuing an oil tanker in international waters near Venezuela, officials told Reuters on Sunday, in what would be the second such operation this weekend and the third in less than 2 weeks if successful. The United States Coast Guard is in active pursuit of a sanctioned, dark fleet vessel that is part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion, a U.S. official said. It is flying a false flag and under a judicial seizure order. Another official said the tanker was under sanctions, but added that it had not been boarded so far and that interceptions can take different forms, including by sailing or flying close to vessels of concern.
Oil prices rose on Monday after officials said the U.S. had intercepted an oil tanker in international waters off the coast of Venezuela, raising fresh supply uncertainty. Brent crude futures rose 46 cents, or 0.8%, to $60.93 per barrel by 0400 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed 46 cents, or 0.8%, to $56.98. The market is waking up to the fact that the Trump administration is taking a hardline approach to the Venezuelan oil trade, said June Go, senior oil market analyst at Sparta Commodities.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Japan took the final step to allow the restart of the world's largest nuclear power plant on Monday as the region of Niigata voted to resume operations, a watershed moment in the country's return to nuclear energy nearly 15 years after the Fukushima disaster. Kashiwazaki Kariwa, located about 220 kilometers, 136 miles, northwest of Tokyo, was among 54 reactors shut after the 2011 earthquake and tsunami crippled the Fukushima Daiichi plant in the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. Since then, Japan has restarted 14 of the 33 that remain operable, as it tries to wean itself off imported fossil fuels. Kashiwazaki Kariwa will be the first operated by Tokyo Electric Power Co., which ran the doomed Fukushima plant.
A revamp of China's electricity market is boosting the economics of storing power just as international demand surges, sparking a boom for the Chinese energy storage manufacturers that already dominate globally. Chinese firms are on track for a 75% jump this year in global shipments of lithium-ion battery cells for energy storage, according to one estimate. They have exported more than $65 billion worth of storage and electric vehicle batteries this year, cementing their dominance in a sector vital to backing up wind and solar and keeping power coursing through artificial intelligence data centers. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Gold jumped past the $4,400 per ounce level for the first time on Monday, riding on growing expectations of further U.S. rate cuts and strong safe haven demand, with silver also joining the rally to hit an all-time high. Spot gold was up 1.4% at $4,397.16 per ounce, as of 05:02 GMT, after breaking the $4,400 barrier to hit a record high of $4,400.29 earlier in the day. Spot silver climbed 3.3% to hit a historic high of $69.44. U.S. gold futures for February delivery rose 0.98% to $4,430.30 per ounce.
China's exports of rare earth magnets rose to the second highest level on record in November, the first full month after the US and China agreed to streamline exports of the elements. Exports hit 6,150 metric tons in November, according to customs data released on Saturday, up 12% from October and the highest since the record 6,357 tons in January. China restricted exports of the specialized magnets used in weapons, cars and phones in April during the trade war unleashed by U.S. President Donald Trump, bringing parts of the global supply chain to a halt.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Chicago soybeans edged higher on Monday, as the market took a breather after last week's losses, which pushed prices to their weakest since late October on demand uncertainty from top importer China. Wheat gained more ground on bargain buying, although ample global supplies are likely to keep a lid on prices. Chinese buying has largely been driven by the trade agreement between US and China, said one Singapore-based trader. China's demand for imported beans is limited as there are ample supplies in the domestic market.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.